2019. I'd like to call the Fitchburg City Council to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I would ask that anyone else in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and address. Does any such person wish to do so? Seeing none, Councilor Boschman, would you please lead us in the salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please conduct the roll call?
President Kushmarek.
Present.
Councilor Boschman.
Here.
Councilor Clark.
Here.
Councilor Di Natale.
Here.
Councilor Donnelly.
Here.
Councilor Fleming.
Here.
Councilor Green.
Here.
Councilor Caddy.
Here.
Councilor Squalia.
Present.
Councilor Walsh.
Here.
Councilor Zarella.
Here.
Public forum. Anyone wishing to speak on any matter on the agenda may do so for not more than 2 minutes. If you are addressing public hearing petitions, you'll have an opportunity to speak at that time. Please approach the center table and identify yourself by name and address for the record and the item number on the agenda which you are addressing. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Calvin Brooks. I'm City Auditor for the City of Fitchburg, and I'm just making some comments on the letter you all have in your packet concerning free cash. Free cash for fiscal year 2019 was recently certified by the Department of Revenue in the amount of $6.8 million. This figure compares to just under $5 million in the last 2 years, FY18 and 17, and to between $2 and $3 million in FY15, 14, and 13. First question, what is free cash? Free cash is neither free nor cash. It is basically the amount of money left over at the end of the year that is not committed to pay bills. When we develop the mayor's budget, we try to be careful and prudent in our estimates, making sure that our revenue estimates are less than expectations of what we actually may receive, and that our expense budget is adequate to cover all foreseen and some unforeseen costs. We don't want to be caught short and have to make mid-year cuts. Although this year's free cash is very good, I expect next year's free cash to be lower because we did increase our local revenue estimated in the 2019 budget. Actual revenue will still exceed estimates, just not as much as it did this year. Furthermore, because the amount can vary from year to year, free cash cannot be counted on to cover routine expenses. It should be used primarily to cover one-time expenses such as savings and capital or extraordinary repairs. The city has been working away at its finances and strengthening the financial structure year by year. We certainly are not on easy street, but we are much stronger than we were just a few years ago. To be successful, the city has to keep its spending careful and prudent, keep its belt tight, and keep its hand firmly on the purse strings. It will be an uphill struggle, but the city will find itself in a better and more sustainable place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Is anyone else wishing to speak during public forum? Seeing none, if there are no objections, we'll now hear an oral report from the Appointments Committee, which met earlier this evening and took up the following matters. Both were new appointments. The first for the Board of Registers of Voters for term to expire April 1st, 2020, Mr. Dan Milot. That was unanimous. And the Fitchburg Cultural Council for a term to expire March 1st, 2020 of Ms. Margaret Padovano. That was also accepted unanimously. Council on Aging, thank you. I have a motion and second to approve the Appointments Committee oral report. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. We'll now hear a report from the Committee on Records. Councilor Donnelly.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have reviewed the records and they appear to be in order.
I have a motion and second to accept. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Communications from His Honor the Mayor. There are two letters of appointment. The first for permanent reserve police officers for the City of Fitchburg, Mr. Christopher Davis, Sean Mackey, Ismael Santiago Petri, and Dylan Knox. And the second letter for student police officers for the City of Fitchburg, Kelton Stacy, Sean Mackey, Christopher Davis, Dylan Knox, and Ismael Santiago Petri. Also have a promotion letter for Officer David M. Gordon to the rank of Permanent Police Sergeant to take effect on Monday, January 28th, 2019. Those will be sent to appointments. The communications and reports from heads of departments, two such letters, both from Calvin D. Brooks, City Auditor. The first concerned Community Development Revolving Fund.
Move the reading of the communications be waived and placed on file.
Second.
I have a motion and second that the communications be placed on file and their readings waived. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous, motion carries. And one other communications from the Pension Reserve Investment Management Board that will be placed on file in the city clerk's office. Returning to the agenda, Public Safety Committee oral report, Councilor Green.
Yes, thank you. Public Safety met earlier this evening. We took up 3 matters, and we do have a couple of amendments that need to be made to those. The first, 24818, Officer Leroy Jackson to request regarding Oliver Street. Add 6 parking meters on the easterly side, add 1 loading zone on the easterly side, make Oliver Street a one-way from Elm Street heading southerly towards Main Street, eliminate the no parking tow zone and stop sign on the easterly side.
Motion to amend 24818 by removing 6 parking meters on the easterly side and replacing with 2-hour parking.
Second.
I have a motion and second to amend 24818. Condition 1 reads add 6 parking 2-hour spaces. Is that correct?
Yes.
I have a motion and second to amend. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. 24818 as amended is before you.
Approve as amended.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve as amended. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Petition 25518, Police Chief Ernest Martineau to recommend Putnam Street be converted to a one-way lane roadway from Main Street to Boulder Drive. The addition of 6 metered parking spots and 1 loading zone to be approved.
Motion to amend 25518, removing the 6 metered parking spaces and replacing with 2-hour parking.
Second.
I have a motion and second to amend 25518, removing the metered parking spots and replacing them with 2-hour parking. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous.
Move
Motion carries.
25518 be accepted as amended.
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept 25518 as amended. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Last one, 25618, Police Chief Ernest Martineau to remove 4 spaces, 2 double meters in front of Fitchburg District Court, replace with no parking anytime. Remove 1 space, 1 parking meter at Elm Street. That was amended to remove and Oliver Street. So the sentence will end 1 parking meter at Elm Street, and 4, replace with no parking prisoner loading area.
Motion.
Move to amend 25618 to say 1 parking meter at Elm Street and Grove Street.
Second.
I have a motion and second to amend 25618 to amend line 3 to be 1 parking meter at Elm Street and Grove Street. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Move to accept 25618.
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept 25618 as amended. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Orders, finance.
00319 through 01819 be sent to the Finance Committee.
I'd like to request that 003 and 021 be held out.
021 would be on the next, the orders other, if you're looking for 003.
Yes, 003 be held out.
So I have a, are you amenable to that request, Council?
Yes.
I have a motion and second to send 004 up to and including 0018 to the Finance Committee. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. 00319.
Motion to take it under suspension of the rules. We've received communication from the Water Department, or I have rather as property chair, indicating that the closing must be completed by the end of February in order to retain the grant funding. And knowing how closings can easily get bogged down, I would like to give them the full 1.5 months to finish that closing.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I motion to take it
Second.
under suspension.
So I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules on 00319, which reads, ordered that the City of Fitchburg hereby amends Order 18918 by removing which is for cost of purchasing a conservation restriction on a certain parcel of land in Princeton known as the Bamba property, $520,000, and inserting in its place which is for cost of purchasing a certain parcel of land in Westminster known as the Wilds property, $420,000. Speaking on the motion for suspension, Counselor Green.
Do we know how much the grant funding will cover on that cost, or
This
that's
is for
for?
suspension.
for
We'll vote on
suspension, I'm
suspension
good.
first. Are there anyone speaking to suspension? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is before you. The matter is before you.
Move 00319 be accepted.
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept 00319. Speaking on the motion, Counselor Green.
Do we know what the grant funding on that project will be?
I forgot to pull up the exact number in the.
Counselor Dina Talley.
The letter from Mr. Devine states that the funding for this land protection project is through a federal forest legacy program grant, and it's essentially a 100% grant.
Thank you.
Counselor Zarella.
Specifically, I remember there being, just for clarity's sake, on an over $400,000 parcel, the expense to the city, or rather to the water department, came out to, I believe, around $3,300.
Yeah,
Counselor Dina Talley.
thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, it's essentially 100% paid for, other than $3,300, which is coming out of the water department's existing budget
Exactly.
for these types of transactions.
Motion to approve 00319?
I have a motion and second to approve 00319. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Moves to suspension on 1919.
Second.
Orders other, I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules on 01919, order setting the dates for the City of Fitchburg 2019 municipal election calendar. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor of suspension?
Aye.
All those opposed? The matter is before you.
Move
Motion-
1919 be adopted.
Second.
Motion and second to accept 01919. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Orders other 02019, ordered that beginning in the fiscal year when any economic benefit to the municipality as hereinafter is realized, the City of Fitchburg shall include in its annual budget a line item requiring payment to Mass Development of an amount equal to 15% of any economic benefit to the municipality until the earlier of one, full repayment of the amount of the recoverable grant that has been dispersed and has not already been repaid to Mass Development; 2, the expiration of 30 years from the date on which the first economic benefit to the municipality is realized; or 3, if no redevelopment on the site commences, the expiration of 30 years from the date of the recoverable grant as outlined in the enclosed order. And what was the to send that to?
Council President.
That actually, Mr.
Finance.
President, that was actually before Finance Committee as a petition
Yes.
that we adopted.
Thank you,
So now
Counsel.
this
This
is
is the
full-
corresponding
this is the
order to
corresponding
that.
order. So Finance Committee's already approved the petition, as has the full council.
Motion to approve 02019?
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 02019. Speaking on the motion, Counselor Green.
I'm just wondering, with Tom Sarowski here from Community Development, this seems kind of vague on what exactly what we're spending money on, 15% of any economic benefit to the municipality from what? Maybe I
Counsel,
missed the
language is
communication.
vague because we had voted on the petition that stated the purpose, and then now this is the corresponding financials. But Mr. Skrowski, if you're prepared to speak on this.
Briefly, so it's part of the Mass Development Brownfields Recoverable Grant Program, which you'll probably be seeing a few of these from my office in the coming year. Basically, they used to give it out just as a grant for brownfield remediation work. In this case, it's for the B.F. Brown School to do some Phase 1 and Phase 2 work, just kind of looking at potential contaminations that might exist at the site. And the way that this grant works is Mass Development basically assesses a baseline, and then the increment of value created through the development that results from the brownfields work. So let's say they do the full remediation, they develop the site. The value created above and beyond that baseline, they'll be basically recapturing 15% of that value for a period of 30 years or until the grant is repaid, whichever happens first. So in this case, I think it's a roughly $15,000 grant, and I think we projected out more or less because of from Mass Development's angle, the baseline value here, although to be sure, B.F. Brown School had some value, but because it was a tax-exempt property, the baseline is roughly zero, so all the value created will be taxed and sent to Mass Development at a rate of 15% for a period of 4 years, in this case, until that $15,000 is repaid.
I have a motion and second to accept 02019. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous, motion carries.
Motion to take 02119 under suspension for the same reason as 00319.
Second.
I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules on 02119.
President, does this need suspension? It's not earmarked for anything.
I count it, this is a corresponding order that went
Sure.
with.
I just didn't know if it needed suspension, or we just, because the last one we just did didn't need suspension.
The other matter had already been posted on the agenda,
Okay.
so because it had already been posted, we didn't need suspension, but,
Okay.
so. I have a motion and second for suspension. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Motion to approve, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The matter is before you.
Motion to approve 02119.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 02119. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
those opposed? It is unanimous, motion carries.
Second.
I have a motion and second to adjourn, counselors. I just want to call attention, the next meeting, and to our viewing audience, is Tuesday, January 9th, 2019, at 7 p.m. So while the next meeting's on the 29th, we'll then return in February and throughout the rest of the year to our normal schedule of the first and third Tuesdays for council meetings. This year we got out of order because of the organizational meeting to start the year. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just an announcement, a brief announcement. The United States Air Force Heritage America Band will be performing a free concert February 24th, 2019 at 3 p.m. Western Auditorium, Fitchburg State University. Tickets are available at City Hall, our Fitchburg Public Library, and the Senior Center. And it's sponsored by Civic Days and Operation Service. Thank you, Mr. President.
We also have Winterfest that will be coming up at Coggeshall Park on February 2nd. That it will be from I believe 1 to 5 p.m. More information to come for the next meeting. I have a motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, councilors.
Oh.